it's funny. My mum's the one who got me into this. So, uh, just talking
Okay,
about
so
that.
there's a wonderful segue from the last conversation.
Yeah. Sorry, really shocked.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Silicon Valley. I'm an Australian living here. My mum and dad are in Australia, so they'll watch this on YouTube later, which I think will surprise them. Um, I'm really surprised.
Take your time.
Um, I guess so I got laid off about 5 weeks ago, and I'm on a visa, so my countdown is starting. And I found spending time with all of you to be really helpful and keeping me going through this time. But I found that I was really finding peace in the moment, but I was potentially burying my head in the sand, and not being able to face problems such as my lease, my visa, moving countries. And I just wanted to ask you how to be in the moment, but still deal with things that are approaching or coming that I need to deal with that might not necessarily be in this room right now, but are very real and very much now.
Oh, thank you for that question. It's absolutely beautiful and absolutely critical, because it would be a huge misunderstanding of meditation to think that it was merely a method of quiescence, of ignoring everything that's going on in your life. And you're walking around a lot. We're getting a whole tour of your domicile. Are you still with us? It looks like you're frozen up.
How you doing, Esther?
Were you looking for a better signal? Because we've lost you now. You were fine where you were. Soren, are we on live? And
we're doing great, Jon. But yeah, Esther, let's see. How you doing, Esther?
Are you
Am I
back?
back?
Yeah. We lost
Am I
you.
Back?
We lost you.
Okay. I had a 7% battery.
Okay.
Oh, so you had to plug it in. You had to get close to. Okay. So anyway, to make a very long story short, if you're ignoring the actualities of your life to go into some kind of meditative la land, that's a form of violence to yourself. That's not what this practice is about. So your visa circumstances, the fact that you were laid off and that starts a particular kind of clock, which I don't understand the details of, but I've read about it enough to understand that it means you have to leave the country unless you find some other kind of employment. Yeah, this is the curriculum. That's what I've been suggesting from day one, that the real curriculum is life itself, and not ignoring the actual landscape that you're living in and the pain and the stress of it, but taking it on in a way that doesn't destroy you or doesn't, sort of compound the pain and the stress, because you're taking it all personally when actually none of it is personal. It's just we're all caught up in something where the virus doesn't care whether you're Australian, American, Russian, or, Turkish. And in the same way, the United States of America doesn't care about you at all. It's just like you're just some kind of number in some computer or whatever, and then clocks start and stop. But our whole life is caught up in that kind of thing. And the question is, how can you regulate yourself so that you take care of real problems when they need to be addressed, but you don't lose your mind out of anxiety or fear in the process. Is that a fair summary?
Yeah, I find that what I've always done is I've thought more about how my actions affect other people rather than how my actions affect myself. And I've found that over the last 6 years of living here, I um, I sort of created these narratives of how what I did affected other people, and then I played out those stories.
Mm.
And now I'm trying to.
That's great that you realize that,
Well, I
because it
found
doesn't sound like that was a very healthy kind of pattern to fall into.
no, and I think when I was trying to keep people close, I pushed them away by not being my authentic self.
Well, do you think that or do you know that? Because you said, I think.
I know that.
Okay, stop right there. That's the power of mindfulness. That kind of knowing is not merely cognitive, but we don't often listen to that in ourselves. And then we get lost in all the problem solving. And
Yeah.
then, so this is kind of like another yoga practice is you work with the stretching, you work with the envelope of like the circumstances that you're in, wanted or unwanted, pleasant or unpleasant, and you ground yourself as best you can without idealizing the practice in any way, shape, or form, but you ground yourself in awareness itself embodied and how am I holding this? And then you'll get instant feedback from the world, from your body, from your breath, from the, so immigration. I mean, you'll get instant feedback from all sorts of places, wanted and not wanted. But your intelligence is like infinitely capable of holding this all in a way that will ultimately resolve itself one way or another. And that's why I keep stressing the not knowing.
Yeah.
And you have a place to go home to. You have parents who are still alive. I mean, there's all sorts of things if you started cataloging it all that's in your favor and that maybe you're, way more privileged than other people who are like, I mean, sitting in cars waiting, for hours just to try to get food for their kids. So it's all relative. And the real question is, how can you use it as practice? And I can't tell you that, but you can tell you that because you're not just the student, you're also the teacher. You're your own teacher. Life is the teacher, the meditation practice is the teacher, but the curriculum is the whole show, and you're an important part of it. So that's why I keep stressing there's no one right way to practice. If you get caught up in your narrative too much, there are an infinite number of wrong ways to practice and then go for years. Whatever happens to you, 10 years, 20 years from now, you don't want to be meditating in a way that's self-centered because that's the most toxic delusion of all. But it's a very, very robust delusion and we all suffer from it. So that's also where you could use this unwanted opportunity to liberate yourself now and see what happens.
Yeah, that's what I've been finding is every, I don't know, several days I'll think like, oh, I got it, and then it's just then I catch myself getting in the narrative of self, and it just keeps
But
flipping.
that's part of life, so in and out, and it's like waves on the ocean. You can't stop it from waving, like just stay like this. I like today, no waves. It'll do whatever it does. And the same with the mind and the same with the world. And it could care less about us in a certain way. But that's where the wisdom comes in, and that's where self-compassion comes in, and that's where kindness towards yourself comes in. And then that's all, it's all practice. I don't
Yeah,
know if that helps or not, but
yeah, it definitely does. And I think every conversation you've had with the thousands of people, that's what I wait for every day, is that 30 minutes at the end where I get to hear people talk about their lives and converse. I just learned so much from everyone here. So thank you all.
Me too. Thank you. Thank you. That's very beautiful. And good luck to you.